Okay, for this one, we're watching front row center, Brian and Mike. Now, obviously, this is no gi, so making grips is a little bit trickier. It helps that I think this is the first round and both guys are more dry, but nice pickup of the ankles by Mike. But basically, what's happening here, Brian's got to try to grab wrists here. He's sitting up in a butterfly guard. So he's going to try to grab a wrist, and if you can, get a 2-on-1. Get two hands on one wrist. That'll offer a good control. Now, that was a nice attempt at a sweep by Brian to jump in, try to shove the legs. But Mike disengaged just enough. And Mike's fight here, he should try to step a foot in between Brian's legs. That way he can force a half guard or a better position to pass from. Right now, even though he's kind of the one in control of the distance, he's still just kind of on the outside. It's kind of almost like when you're like when you watch a guy like bobbing and weaving in boxing. Like, you do need that skill, but you have to try to make contact with a grip to try to establish some type of pass, right? So Brian should be trying to grab wrists, set up a guard position. Mike is going to be trying to break grips and basically get as close to Brian as he can without Brian having a grip on him, which is about as difficult as it sounds. And now Brian gets both ankles. Now he did a nice job of putting Mike to his butt, but Mike did a nice job of closing his knee and trapping Brian's legs. Let's watch again slow motion so we can really see what happened. Now Mike is pretty much where he needs to be, kind of in like the danger zone of where you might get swept, but you have to try to pass. Now see how Brian gets both ankles. Now he's going to put Mike to his butt, but Mike did a good job of pinching his knees and turn into a hip here. Now it's going to be a battle of either leg attacks, ankle locks, knee bars, things like that, or the battle is going to be to untie the legs. If I'm in either one of these guys' situation and leg locks aren't my thing, I'm just looking to keep my feet safe and try to pull my butt away and remove my leg out of here while trying to be mindful of not giving up an ankle lock or something like that. Both these guys are playing it smart too and just really taking it nice and slow. Anytime your legs are tangled up like this, it's not the time for explosive movement. You really want to slow things down. And now Mike was able to get back on top and get his leg out of there. So nothing lost, nothing gained, but we're back to square one. So Mike goes to his knees to try to pass. Brian goes for a grip. Mike sits down to the bottom. And honestly, I mean, this is training, so it's like this is the time you want to experiment. If this was a tournament scenario, Mike would not want to do that because he'd be giving up 2 points. But like I said, training is the time to experiment. And now he went to the bottom. He came up, hit a very nice arm drag. Very cool. Let's watch again. So Brian did a good job of getting the legs and putting Mike on his back. Now he should be trying to move to the side. He's still just trying to kind of move straight on with Mike, and it gives Mike the chance to kind of reset his position. And see, he's got a grip a little too long on that ankle. That let Mike grab the wrist and grab the tricep and get behind his elbow. Once he's behind the elbow, he's just got to try to stay behind him. And now, as you can see, he's attacking from the turtle position. From here, Brian's got to try to stay tight with his elbows and his knees. If he can connect his elbows and knees together, that would be good. But Mike knocks him over and gets a hook. So Mike's in a good spot. Brian's got to be mindful of the choke and think about getting out of here, because Mike doesn't quite have the position locked on yet. And now he took the hook out. He goes to sit Brian over to the other side. That was a nice recovery move. But now Brian did the smart thing, bringing his head lower than Mike's head. Now he's looking to make his way out of here. See how he's bringing those legs in? Now he can start to kind of walk those shoulders back. Notice how he's fighting the hands here to unlock the upper body. Now he breaks the grip. And now he's trying to force his way to come on top. Mike tried to come up there, but Brian was able to beat him to the punch. Now from here in this situation, that was kind of a scramble, so you'd want to try to take a couple deep breaths. If you were Brian, try to build up a little bit more energy in the gas tank before you think about your next move. But right now, see how Mike's knee is in front of Brian's hip? This is going to be a problem for Brian. Brian's got to try to either push that knee down or climb over it. But beating the knee line is very important for trying to establish a guard pass. If you don't ever get by the guy's knees, it's going to be him controlling and going for attacks rather than you going for passes. But what he needs to do, he's too square. Brian's too square. You got to try to get an angle to one side or the other, and then he's going to be able to apply a lot more pressure. Brian wants to try to work his way to an underhook with his right arm and a crossface with his left arm. But it looks like Mike might be thinking about a Kimura, or he's doing something to keep that arm busy on the other side. So now would be a time where Brian might be able to go up over the knee. But it looks like Mike might have a Kimura on him here. So if so, he has to just worry about defending that. And you kind of have to stop your attempt at passing. It's pretty much all the good parts of that one, but there was some real nice work on that one. Nice arm drag, scramble to the back, a nice back escape. There's some cool things to watch. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.